All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So, again, a very good morning. And can I request everyone, especially the students, to be very active on the chat, because through that I can know if you are getting what I'm speaking, and if you have anything to share, anything to ask. Just let me know whether you think that is a right answer, wrong answer. Please don't worry about it. Just share what comes to your head when I ask questions. If that's all right, and my instruction is pretty clear, um, please give me a yes or a no on the chat. Waiting. So great. Thank you, Lisha. Thanks, Veena. Thanks, Veena, ma'am. Great. So we'll start with human body, a chemical marvel. That's the topic for today. And as I've already been introduced by Arjun, I'm a science educator and also a developer. So moving ahead with knowing, how do you think our human body is called a chemical marvel? Marvel means wonder, right? And that's something that surprises you. And I already know that आपने chapter 1 and chapter 2 already कर चुके हो. उसमें you would have studied various chemical reactions, various processes. Also, second chapter which has acid, bases, and salts, and that application. So in this context, we'll be applying the chemicals and the reactions that you would have studied in context with human body. And how is it a chemical marvel? We'll understand together. But before we start, I want you to have three things. तीन चीजें आपके पास होनी चाहिए. Pen, paper, and कुछ भी छोटा सामान जो आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता है खाने के लिए. It could be a biscuit, it could be a fruit, it could be namkeen, कुछ भी. Just keep it ready. And if it is ready, just give me a yes on the chat, so that we know that we are all charged up and we are ready to go to understand how is our body a chemical marvel. If that is ready. All right. Good morning. Thank you. All right. This is the question that I would like to ask. How does a body or parts of a body respond to, thank you, Tamanna. How does a body, parts of a body respond to various situations? So I'll give you situations, okay? You have to find out कि क्या हमारे साथ ये कभी हुआ है, like होता है, have you ever noticed this happening? And अगर होता है, तो क्यों होता है? कैसे होता है? Like हमारी body को पता कैसे चलता है that सच में, ऐसे करना है, ऐसे react करना है? How do we know that? So the first case that I am presenting to you
I think we have lost Ratika. Ratika, are you back?
Yeah, am I audible? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Great. So the first situation is touching a hot or a cold surface. Give me a yes or a no on the chat. Until you do that, I won't proceed further. So tell me कि कभी आपने कोई गलती से कभी कोई गरम चीज या ठंडी चीज छुई है, रिएक्ट कैसे किया है? Just सोचना कभी किया है? I'm sure किया होगा. How do you do that? Yes or a no on the chat. Have you ever touched? Okay, I'm getting responses. Great, you have. How do you respond? Great. How do you respond? Thank you, Prakash. Thanks, Diksha. Thanks, trainer ma'am. Thank you. So you have, right? How do you respond it? Like you probably would have touched अगर ये मेरा कोई surface है जो गर्म है या बहुत ठंडा है, especially cold weather में, how would you do that? How would you react? You probably like would touch it and then you will quickly do this. Absolutely, Tamanna. That's exactly what I just did. withdrawal, like quickly, and you don't even think, सोचते भी नहीं हो कि करना क्या है, like इतना time भी नहीं होता है, like within less than a second you would respond like that. But how does it happen इतनी जल्दी, like इतनी जल्दी that you've just responded your response, like कैसे? We'll know about this through knowing our body a bit more. So how it happens is, when you touch anything which is hot or cold, you're basically touching a stimulus. Anything that changes in the environment. Right now, जो इस केस में है, that is nothing but temperature. तो या तो वो ठंडा था या तो वो गर्म था. तो जैसे ही आपने बहुत गर्म था या बहुत ठंडा था, जैसे ही आपने उसे टच किया, वो स्टिमुलस, what happened is you sensed the temperature, which was या तो बहुत ज्यादा गर्म या बहुत ज्यादा ठंडा. So what happened is your neuron, that's a cell that communicates this temperature change to another neuron, okay, which is in your spinal cord. Okay, and spinal cord, reed ki haddi, back, it's in the back. So that it gives you the message to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord then tells what to do. And just imagine it is doing within or less than seconds to tell what has to be done, and it was so quick. So it tells what to do to remove the hand, and as you can see over here in the picture as well, that it goes this from sensory neuron to another neuron, which is connected over there in the spinal cord, back to the motor neuron, which relays or jo ya send karta hai information kya karna hai back to the muscle. And you can see a small child there in the picture, which exactly takes off, like how many students just told me right now, ki fatafat haath hata leta, because that's how a response is. So can you think about, like, how does this happen? There is something which is happening to tell you what to do. It's a reaction. But can you tell me what kind of a reaction would that be? You started in chapter 1. It would be related to that. Thank you. Yes, agreed. Sense organs, brain coordination, absolutely. Right now, but brain would not probably help in telling this signal. Why? Because brain तक पहुंचने के बाद brain सोचेगा कि क्या करना है, हाथ हटाना है, नहीं हटाना है, क्या करना है, तब तक the damage would have already been done. So quick answer is being given by a spinal cord, and that's why this is called as a reflex arc. You can see an arc which is being made, and you can see like an arc here made as a response. So this is called as a reflex arc, which is very, very quick and tells you what to do. Right, reflex reaction, that's absolutely correct. So let's move to the second one, but you still have to tell me what happened here. They were basically, the chemicals were released when you touched a hot surface. The chemicals were released to tell the message. And electrical, you can see this small circular thing. This is basically the electrical discharge which is happening because of release of chemicals to tell the message. This is the situation, what should we do? So a chemical is released. So can you tell me what kind of reaction would that be? Chemicals are released and I'm asking a reaction. What could be the type of reaction which will be involving chemicals here? Try to bring that word together. Chemicals, and then there's also a reaction. So what kind of a reaction happens when chemicals react? It's okay, you can try. Answers could be something that might not be right. Please feel free to write and respond so that you can share what you feel like, and I know. Thanks, Tamanna. It is absolutely correct. It's chemical reaction. So this is the first example in our body that I just showed that responds and then shows a chemical reaction has happened. To just put your finger out. So there'll be a second case as well that will be on the slide. So let's see if you have also come across a second situation. Now, have you ever got bruised? Bruised मतलब आप कभी खेल रहे हो, cycling कर रहे हो, या कुछ काट रहे हो and you got a cut? Yes or a no? Wow, Prakash, that's brilliant. The way you've talked about signals, dendrites, synapse, neuron cell, brilliant. That's exactly what happens, and that's even more biology integrated over there in chemical reaction. Right, so Tamanna says yes. I have more students. Mangan, thank you. Manasvi, thank you. Right. So am I audible? I'm sorry. I think I again have.
We can hear you, Ratika.
All right. Okay. Okay. Great. So now what happens is, you've got a cut, right? Now you've got a cut. What happens? क्या आपको लगता है ब्लड निकलता रहता है, निकलता रहता है, निकलता रहता है? ऐसा नहीं होता है, राइट? निकलता है, देन थोड़ा टाइम के बाद बंद हो जाता है, एंड देन बंद होने के बाद इट प्रॉब्ली हैज अ स्कार देयर आफ्टर सम टाइम एंड देन हील्स. आपको पता भी नहीं चलता कट लगा था, राइट? हाउ डज इट हैपन? ना आपको तो नहीं पता है, लाइक वो ब्लड ब्लड को तो नहीं पता कि मुझे रुकना है, मुझे और नहीं फ्लो करना है, अब इतना ही फ्लो करना है आउट और फिर मुझे बंद हो जाना है. ब्लड को तो नहीं पता है, वो तो वहां पर कट लगा है, ब्लड शुड कम आउट एंड एंटायर बॉडीज ब्लड शुड कम आउट. हाउ दैट हैपेंस? Again, that would be something that we'll just right now see, and I'll show you an example here with a picture. So you can see over here, it's in the picture, it shows you a blood vessel, a cross section of a blood vessel. And when you say blood vessel, what do you think blood would have? Some hints are already there in the picture. Can you tell me on the chat? Some hints are already there. Blood vessel mein kya hoga? Wow, Sahil. That is so good. You've already told me platelet plug. A platelet plug will be formed. RBC, correct. WBC, correct. RBC, correct. You've already talked to me about few things that are already there in blood. Apart from that, there are also other things like plasma, right? And also other proteins that are floating in it. And platelets, of course. So I'll show you an example. Okay, this is my blood vessel. Like this. This is my blood vessel. What I said was कि यहाँ rupture हो गया या cut लग गया. So I'm just removing a small paper like this. So this is a cut. I got bruised, right? अब मुझे यही heal करना है. So कैसे होगा? Usually तो platelet plug, Sahil told me कि platelet plug हो जाएगा. But platelets को कैसे पता कि मुझे यहीं जाना है? Platelets तो normal भी flow कर रहे थे in the blood vessel, right? But how does it know? So what happens is, again, there is a reaction that needs to happen, and there are chemicals in the blood also, and some proteins that aid in this reaction. Okay, so what happens is, जैसे ये cut लगा, platelets usually flow कर रहे होते हैं हमारी blood vessels में, normally flow कर रहे होते हैं, but as soon as a cut happens, platelets gets very sticky, चिपकना शुरू हो जाते हैं, और चिपकेंगे कहाँ? यहाँ. And that's why when you talked about platelet plug, correct, Khush. So when you talk about platelet plug here, so platelets can get accumulated here and try to block this so that no more blood goes out. But जो ये plug बना है, ये ज़्यादा strong नहीं है. That's the point. Strong ज़्यादा नहीं है, उसको और strong करना है. So what happens? Do you know any protein that can help it to even more like make it strong? Can you name any other protein that can help to make it even more strong? You can try if you know any protein which can even make this plug to get more stronger so that blood bilkul bahar na jaye. Okay, starts with F if you have any idea. All right, I'll share it with you. So fibrin is another protein that helps you to plug the plug that is there for platelet. जो platelet से बना है यहाँ plug. Fibrin is another protein that makes it even more dense and even blocks the cut that you have here. As you can see it in the picture over here. I'm just showing you now. Can you see over here? Thread-like structures. Fibrin is nothing but जैसे धागे होते हैं, बिल्कुल धागे से बिल्कुल mesh में बिल्कुल mesh बना लिया है, and उसमें entangled क्या है? Platelet. So you can see कि बिल्कुल block कर दिया है, तो RBCs बिल्कुल बाहर नहीं जा सकते. And with some time, this wound will also get healed based on reactions that will happen here. And again, they will involve chemicals as well, which are in our body. And again, this is an example of a chemical reaction. Now, how many of you understand these two examples and they are chemical reactions? Yes or a no? Before I move to the third one. I'm waiting. Yes, yes, really, that's ensuring. Only 2 people got it. What about others? It's fine. If you did not get convinced, you can let me know. Okay, thank you. I'm getting more responses. Great. So third one would be something that I hope you would love. Thank you, Himanshi. Thanks, Manasvi. तीसरा example will be very close to your hearts and मेरे भी बहुत दिल के करीब है. How many of you love this? I want you to tell me the way you feel about hearing such words. Ice cream, gulab jamun, bel puri, dosa, South Indian food. So good food. When you hear about it, what happens to you? Do you like them? Yes, you like them, or you don't like them. What happens when you hear food that is favorite of yours and you're very, very hungry? What happens to you? Are you like, okay, I will eat that? Okay, I will eat. Or are you like, wow, ice cream I want to have, and there's something which is happening in your mouth? My God, salivating. You are trying to, my God, you want it at the moment. मुझे अभी चाहिए, मुझे भूख भी लगी है, मुझे अभी चाहिए. And your mouth is like, I just want to feel that. You know, the texture of it, the flavor of it. कैसी है, तीखी है, मीठी है, how is it? And that's exactly what you do, right? And I also do the same. So over here, thank you.
Looks like we may have lost Ratika again. Give her a few minutes, and then she can get started.
I'm extremely sorry that I just moved out because of the connectivity issues. Are you there with me? Yes or a no would really help me.
Yes, Ratika.
Great. Thank you. I can see many yeses there, and yeah, I got back. So the smell really helps you to have that salivation, right? So this is again a chemical reaction which basically is triggered by the smell. So your brain gets the signal that there is something very tasty that is coming your way. Please get better, get ready. Abhi ready ho jao, and you probably would have to eat. I don't know kitna khana padega, kitni bhook hai, but please get ready. And that's the first response that you have, which is nothing but the saliva in your mouth, right? And also brain tells the stomach to get ready, that some good food will be coming, so please get ready. And then that's why you feel all the more hunger for having that food. So today we'll talk about this third response even more in depth. So can you tell me, this third example is also an example of which kind of a reaction? On the chat, this third example, which is very relatable, I hope, is also an example of which kind of reaction? We just did. The first one was also relating to chemicals, and there was also a reaction. The second one also was a reaction and involved chemicals. And the third one indeed has that. So what type of reaction is it? Thank you, Mangilal. Thank you so much. It is a chemical reaction. Thank you, Kush, for sharing that it is a chemical reaction. Thank you, Veena ma'am. And Sahil, that's wonderful to tell me already that which gland helps me. And we will do about the same in upcoming slides. So stay with me here. So So let's understand our body's requirement and also the concept of food now. So you've already talked about chemical reaction. You've already told me that, which is wonderful. Now there's a question for you based on the blue things that you can see. There are chemical reactions which is happening inside our body, right? Living, and the keyword is living. Do you know any word which means living or life that we commonly use? Just guess it. When we say life in science, we have a word, probably. We use it quite a lot. Like the study of um, biology, the study of um, bioconcepts. So do you know a word which means life or living? Yeah, you can take some time. I just gave a hint. Something which is life. Like you also noticed around us that we have, yeah, it is chemical reaction. It is, having inside a living organism. How many of you know the word bio? Yes or a no? Bio, biology. Yes or a no? When we hear bio and we go also to bio labs, okay, you know, Kush. When you go, okay, Mangilal, you know. So when you go to bio labs, bio would mean, so what would bio mean? Kush, Manasvi, Tamanna. Wow, Prakash, thank you so much. Living. So biological system, you've also known about biological system, study of living beings, great, biology. So now how do you connect chemical reactions happening inside living organism? You just told me reactions that are chemical in nature uh, are chemical reactions. Now can you club and give me a term? Chemical reactions happening inside a living organism. Can you give me a term in which this word can be also used? And my God, Kush, you nailed it. Biochemical reactions. Absolutely correct. And that's exactly what happens in our body. And we've just known and we've just seen, instead of going to the lab, we already have chemicals in our body, which helps us to know what exactly that situation demands, be it a cut, be it we are hungry, be it we have touched some temperature specific object which is cold, very cold, hot, very hot. Moving over here, now we'll understand why do we eat food. A very small picture to help you know that we also eat, and this is Pooh eating food during lunchtime. Why do you think you eat food, and why do you think anyone should eat food? What does it give it to you? Anything? Does it give anything to us? My God, we get energy. Okay, Prakash also says we get energy milti hai hame to do work and get energy. Mangal, thank you so much. Exactly, that's exactly why we would get to we should eat food, and that's why we eat food. But have you ever wondered, क्या कभी सोचा है आपने कि where is this energy coming from? कहाँ से ये energy है? Yes, Sahil, absolutely correct. Meena ma'am, exactly. Where is this energy coming from? Exactly from food, but कैसे? Food तो है, like I have an apple, but कैसे? Like nutrition. Mangilal says through nutrition. Great. Again, thank you, Hina ma'am, about from chemicals that we again have it in our body. Yes, that is absolutely correct. But the energy that is right now having, that we get it from the food, which we are having, is being used uh, for repair of tissues and cells. That is one that I've given you. Can you tell me any other way this energy is used? Any other way in our body? जब हम पैदा हुए होते हैं तो हमारा साइज या हम जैसे होते हैं वैसे होते हैं, या like something changes, and how does it change? What do you think that you would call that as a term? And बहुत बार जब बहुत टाइम के बाद हमें लोग देखते हैं तो कहते हैं कि अरे आप तो बड़े हो गए. So they, for growth, for production of new cells. That is so good. Absolutely, Tamanna, absolutely, Kush. That's exactly what happens. And these are just the two things that we need food for, basically to help us, for our cells, for tissues, for organs, basically to survive, basically to be alive is what we need food for. And this energy is used to keep us alive and healthy. You nailed it. I love the enthusiasm that you're all absolutely pushed for accomplishing tasks as simple as getting up from the bed, sleeping. Even for that, you need that. Correct. So we have already talked about why do we eat food. So can you tell me this question? So how is the energy released from the food? You've talked to me about biochemical reactions. Now, do you know that what we have done right now, and you've already studied in chapter 1, is chemical reaction. You have reactants that react, and after reacting, they make a product. So now reactants over here are food that we are eating, and the product can vary from simplest of units that can be obtained from food, and also could be energy, or it could also be some complex what do you say, units that are made later on. So it could vary, like what exactly will be my product. So there are two types of reactions that happen in our body. That's good, Kush. Three methods in which energy is produced. Absolutely. That's correct. And over here, I would like to tell you something. You can also note it down in your notebook if you want. It's a type of reaction that probably happens like in our body, and we have term. So what happens is we have a big molecule or a big uh, part of a food that we have had, right? Our body cannot utilize it. Our cells cannot utilize that. So it has to be broken down into pieces. Now, when this process of breaking the big substance into smaller substance happens in our body, that is called as a particular reaction, which is called as catabolic reaction. So you can write in your notebook if you would like to. This is an additional piece of information that you can use it. You already know many types like combination reactions, decomposition reactions, displacement reactions. You already know that. I just thought of giving a type of reactions that happen in your body. There also are types of combinations reactions and those similar reactions as well. But generally, when a big molecule or a big substance gets broken down to simpler substances, this is catabolic. And when simpler substances, simple units join together to form a complex substance, that is called as anabolic reaction. So there are two types of reactions. So you can also break down into simpler substances, and those simpler substances can join together to make a bigger substance. So that can happen. I hope that is clear over here. Now, I want a word from you on the chat. It's easy given that आपको इतना कुछ पता है, आपने इतना कुछ बताया है, मुझे ग्रोथ बताया है, सेल्स न्यू सेल्स बन जाते हैं, फूड क्यों खाना होता है. तो आई थिंक आपको ये भी पता होगा कि डू यू नो विच प्रोसेस helps the body to get the required energy and meet the desired nutrition from food. Do you know that process? One word, okay, it's a one word answer that you should try. Okay, oxidation, yes. Respiration, okay. Digestion, thank you. Absolutely. So respiration definitely helps to release energy. But before we get to respiration, we also should have something to act upon. कुछ चीज तो होनी चाहिए जिसको respiration से जो हमने oxygen लिया है उसको break कर सके. तो वो क्या है? That is coming from food, right? And absolutely, it's digestion, and then cellular respiration aids into the process. It helps to break the simplest unit into energy. So absolutely correct. Digestion would be something that we would be going forward. And of course, respiration would come when you have the simplest substance and you have to break that into energy and other byproducts as well. So respiration is also very important. And you can now see the interplay of respiration and digestion. So not just one reaction happens in our bodies अलग से, बिल्कुल अलग compartment में हो रहा है, जब खत्म हो जाएगा तो दूसरा reaction होगा. Doesn't work like that. Everything is interrelated. And I'm great that you can come up with examples like these. So let's come up to understand the process of digestion. And this will be, again, something that we have to be mindful about, that it would be a chemical reaction, and how it is, we'll understand. So let's move to the next slide.
अब करना
Can I request you Mute. Thank you. Okay. Activity time. Please get ready. I told you to have anything. Namkeen, biscuit, fruit, anything. Please be ready with that. And the moment I give you a snap like this, you have to take a bite of it. There is no cheating. You have to do that. Okay. We'll try to see what happens to our through things that we have when we eat. The first step in digestion is ingestion. So I want you to do something which I've just told you. So I also will do along with you. I have a biscuit and I'm ready with a snap. I hope you are also ready. Give me a yes if you are ready on the chat so that we'll eat together. In 3, 2, 1. Great. Kush is ready. 2 people are ready with me. Okay, great. So it means 2 people are ready, and including me, there are 3 people. 2 and 1 and 0. Great. I'm getting so many responses. Great. So have the first bite. Okay. Observe what you're doing. I did not tell you anything. What you don't usually do. Just do what you do. When you put something in your mouth, what are you doing? Observe. Observe. And observe how what you're doing in your mouth. What is happening as you're eating. I just showed you as well, and you must have observed as well. So with that, I give you a question. Tell me, where do you think the digestion starts in your body first? Is it stomach? Is it liver? Is it intestines? Is it mouth? Wow. Tamanna, Kush, Sahil, thank you so much. Everybody is saying the correct answer. Oh my God. Great. It starts in the mouth. Absolutely correct. So it starts in the mouth, as you just have stated. And what did you do right now? What did you do when you were putting that thing in your mouth? What were you doing? Did you just swallow that? My God, you nailed it. The word is chewing, mastication. Absolutely. So when you say mastication, what do you have in the word? Like you're chewing. With that, something else is also aiding the process of chewing. What is that? What is happening as your teeth is helping you to grind your food or chew your food? It's also getting smaller. Absolutely, Sahil. But how is it getting smaller? Is there something which is released? Is there something which is present? I'm waiting. Saliva, my God. So saliva is something that is helping you to chew food as well and to make it smaller. Now, the saliva has something in it. Kush, you nailed it before I could actually speak. Absolutely. It has an enzyme called salivary amylase. And how do you know that this is an enzyme? Because it has ACE towards the end. So any enzyme that in our body we talk about usually has ACE at the end. And that's how we know that it's an enzyme. So salivary amylase does something in digestion over here in the mouth. Is it breaks down the carbohydrates into simpler substances, not the simplest, but into simpler substances. As you can also see it in the picture, in the mouth, physical or mechanical digestion is happening because of chewing and mastication, and also a chemical process is happening in which the digestion of carbohydrates has already started. So in carbohydrates, precisely starch is what happens, what starts over there in the mouth. And great, you already nailed this. The second step that you also would have done after finished was what did you do? Did it stay in your mouth automatically? Something when you thought it is fine, you did something wantingly, like wantingly or चाहते थे आप करना voluntarily. Swallow, tamanna, simple. You wanted to put it in your put it like as swallow it. So this step 2 is propulsion, that you forced it to go into the next stage, not in the mouth to remain, but to go down. So can you tell me this, Manasvi? That's absolutely right. But you can just see the spelling. uh, yeah. So now the bolus. So what right now, when you said कि ये बहुत छोटा हो गया size में, that size of the food is now called as, after mastication, this is called as bolus, BOLUS. and it is formed in the mouth. Now, as you said, you would swallow. Can you tell me the organ that the food or the bolus will go to? Quick. Wow, Sahil. Absolutely. Food pipe, esophagus. Absolutely. Prakash, thank you. You already nailed the entire process of where it will go. But if the reactions are happening in each stage, is what we'll try to do, Prakash. We'll be talking about each specific organ and talk about if there is a chemical reaction aiding. That's the point. Yes. So, Mangila, you have to think about it will go to the stomach. But do you think after I put it in my mouth and then I swallow, does it go directly into the stomach or there is a midway? So yes, there is a midway, like which is nothing but the esophagus or the food pipe, and you already talked about it. And can you tell me the movement of the esophagus? Is it just like you put over there a food or a bolus and then it just goes and as a straight line and goes to the next organ, or is there a movement? Do you know the movement which happens in the esophagus or the food pipe? Wow, Manasvi, that's absolutely correct. So peristalsis is the movement which happens. Please note how the movement happens. The movement is not like this. If this is my esophagus, the movement will not be just dropping the bolus and it will go down. No, it will be contractions and then relaxation. Contraction, then relaxation. That's how the bolus will move down. It's not as quick as like this. But the movement of peristalsis is it's not too slow as well. It is faster. So that helps the bolus to move down into the next stage. I'll just show you how it looks like, just like this. You can just see that's what you did when you had the food in your mouth and then it changed to bolus. That's how you pushed it, and that's how it moved to the food pipe or the esophagus. And that's something that you can see. The first part, you can see this is a small, yeah, that's absolutely right, Prakash. It's like a spring-like structure, um, uh, which helps, which aids, but doesn't move like this. It moves like this, like a wave-like function, wave-like fashion. Over here in this picture, you can see that there is a small opening here before it moves to the next stage. That is called as sphincter. Sphincter is nothing but an opening that is like a gate. So I can't just open the gate and just get in. The gate will not be open all the time. It will be closed. Only when the bolus will come, the gate will be opened and will go down. Okay. This point, please remember, because मैं पूछने वाली हूँ question कि ये gate अगर मैं खुला रखूंगी तो क्या हो जाएगा? जब मैं ईसोफेगस से नेक्स्ट स्टेज में जाऊंगी तो अगर मैं ये गेट खुला रखूं तो क्या हो जाएगा? तो ठीक है, अगर खुला रहेगा तो अच्छा है ना, जल्दी जल्दी से सामान सारा आता रहेगा, जो भी बोलस है मेरा वो आता रहेगा, फूड जल्दी जल्दी चला जाएगा नेक्स्ट स्टेज में. जरूरी क्यों है कि मुझे गेट रखना है वहां पर, स्फिंक्टर रखना है मुझे वहां पे कि तभी खुलेगा जब मेरा बोलस आएगा. So we'll understand this in the next thing, which is where chemical and mechanical digestion happens. Can you tell me the next organ after esophagus? It was there in the slide. If you were attentive, you would know. Absolutely. Kush, you you are great. You already know that, and food can come out. Okay, that's something which we talked about. Something which probably would happen when there is not control over there, and you have already seen vomiting as one of the reflex actions that happen. One is that. There's also another evidence or another thing which happens. I'll just talk about in this slide as well. Stomach is the next one. Thank you for saying that out aloud. And that's the exact answer for this question as well. This is how the stomach would look. And you can see the bolus just moved in. And there's something in the stomach which is there. Can you tell me what is there in the stomach? Don't go with the color over here, please. Do not go with the color. Tell me what does it have. Great. It is HCl. Can you tell me what is the nature of HCl? Quick. Gastric acid. That's good. Mucus. Yes, you have mucus as well. Acidic. Great. So you have done your chapters pretty well. I'm very happy. So it is acidic. And can you tell me how acidic it is? Is it a very strong acid, like on the pH scale? Can you tell me if of what exactly would be the pH in the stomach? Very strong. Kush says very strong. But if I don't understand what is strong, and if I only understand the pH scale, can you tell me approximate value that you think would estimate a pH which is very strong? Wow, Prakash. Kush, think about it. 12. Do you think 12 would be acidic or basic or neutral? I know it is confusing. Himanshi says 2. So absolutely, it is in the range of 1.2 to 2.5. It can fluctuate as well, depending upon how much acid is there, but it's very acidic. And that's what the range also suggests. Yes, Sahil, that could be one of the ranges as well. And yes, it is more than a bit more than 1. And it ranges from 1 to 2.5. And it shows it's very strong. So you've nailed it here. So what happens here is you're having mechanical churning as well. What happens is the stomach is just not like this. The stomach will also move like this. So what will it do is it will make that bolus even more smaller, so that chemicals can come and react with it, and the simplest substance, simplest unit which is in the food can be broken down. So you already know macronutrients. Can you tell me some macronutrients on the chat? Macro, I'm saying, please mind the word macro. Macro. Macronutrient in the food that you have usually has a macronutrient. We talked about carbohydrates getting digested in the mouth. Can you think about another macronutrient? I've given you one hint. Carbohydrates. Do you know any other macronutrient? Protein. Absolutely, Kush. Any other? Any other? Fat, thank you. Protein, fat, carbohydrates, they are the macronutrients. So what happens is, Mangala, thank you for sharing vitamin, but vitamin would come under micronutrient. Okay, it is not required by the body in huge quantities, but in a appreciable quantity. So we wouldn't consider vitamin as a macronutrient, but a micronutrient. All right. So here in stomach, you want, yes, minerals also will be micronutrient. Push, that's correct. So what happens in the stomach is that you have acidic medium. Now there is another enzyme which is called, there are many other enzymes as well as you had in your mouth, salivary amylase. You have pepsin here, which will break proteins into simplest substances. So pepsin reacts here, and you know what is fascinating? Pepsin can only work in acidic environment, and that's why hydrochloric acid gives the requirement of the acidic environment. So pepsin can work together and break the protein. So chemical digestion is happening. I'm breaking the protein as well over here in my stomach. Also, just think about one more important thing. If my gates do not close, I'll just show which gates I was talking about here. Please see this. There is a small gate you can see over here which is closed. Can you tell me, if they are not closed, what would happen? One was that the food can come out, like when it happens in vomiting, when the stomach is uncomfortable and it releases out and it pushes. What else could happen? Sahil, you're trying to tell me, but I don't understand. Could you think again? What would happen? Remember, it has something very acidic. And if I open my gates, yes. Have you ever felt the need कि मेरे को ना यहाँ पे बहुत like pain सा हो रहा है and I'm feeling acidic? Have you ever felt heartburn? Acidity, yes. Heartburn, that's exactly what the cause is. Yes, it will burn your organs, absolutely. And that's what, thoda sa hi upar aata hai esophagus mein, you feel so much discomfort, right? That's what happens when it might not get closed. Sometimes it happens. कभी कभी आपने ज़्यादा तीखा खा लिया और it aids that, like it makes the acid to move out. It just makes that happen. That's why you should know which foods to eat and how much you should eat. So that's important, and you've already talked about this acid reflex, absolutely correct. Now, moving over here to the thing. Now, we would not call it as bolus. We will call it as chyme. Now, in the stomach, when the bolus has been reacted by pepsin and also is being now made even smaller, now this particular food that we have eaten in the mouth is called as chyme in the stomach. Now, the step 4 is absorption. Can you tell me which organs would be needed over here in absorption? I think now you know it. Quick. I think you know it. After stomach, what happens? Yes, I think the speed was quick, and with me as well. And we both together typed Sahil and Mangilan and Kush and Veena ma'am as well. Intestines, and we have two types, small intestine and large intestine. Both are involved, but it starts with small intestine first. So along with the small intestine, what happens is that after you move from the stomach, duodenum is one of the first parts of the small intestine that starts. And here you need a basic environment. Now a question for all of you. Right now the environment in stomach was acidic, right? If I have to make it basic, what would I do? Would I add more acid? Would I add more neutral substance? Would I add more basic substance? What would I do? Base. Why? Add basic. Why? What will it do? Will it increase my pH or will it decrease my pH of in duodenum? Will it increase my pH or decrease? Absolutely, Kush. It will increase my pH, and it will not be around 1 to 2 as it was there. It would be basic. So can you tell me some range that can show that it is basic in duodenum or in the small intestine? Absolutely, Sahil, to neutralize the pH or make it less acidic so that it can be more basic if that is the requirement of small intestine. Absolutely, Veena ma'am, push. Yes, it would be +7. It would be 7 or above, and that's what would be called as basic. So you already nailed it. The small intestine would be like that. So in duodenum, right now when you talk about bile, bile is released by 2 of the organs. Do you know that? On the chat? If you know about the organs which release bile, liver, correct. But if I have liver, if I'm producing liver, is there any storage organ which stores bile for some time and can release as well? Or is it only liver that just releases? Bile duct, yes, but bile duct comes from, yes, correct, gallbladder. So when liver produces so much of bile, it is also stored in the bile. It is also stored in the gallbladder, and from gallbladder, then it releases to the duodenum. And along with that, even pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, which is basic in nature, and it has one of the important bases in it. Can you tell me what would be that? What would be the base that would be added? We know that hydrochloric acid was in stomach. Do you think what base would be added over here? Do you know that? Okay, if I say carbonic acid, could you tell me what would be the constituents of carbonic acid if I break that? If I have to react carbonic acid with acid, okay. Have you ever heard bicarbonate ions? So it's a piece of information if you haven't. Bicarbonate ions are the ions that are there here that gives the environment as basic environment. And when H plus is released from the acid, which is the hydronium ion, it reacts with the OH minus, which is the base, to make it water. So that's how neutralization would happen, and it will increase the pH that you already nailed it over here. And I've just told you about the parts of small intestine. It starts with duodenum, then it moves to jejunum, and then ileum. Over here, most of the substances that we've had in the chyme now further gets broken into very simpler substances for proteins, for fats, and also for carbohydrates. And over here, the absorption will happen and will be released to the blood, uh, finally to be taken to the cells. And that's very important because only then the cells will be able to use use the energy that will be generated from those simpler substances. Absolutely, Prakash, you gave me the chemical reaction. I'm so happy. That's exactly what happens. Thank you so much for showing that. So parts of large intestine is nothing but colon and rectum. How does it look like? I will just share it with you. But before you do that, I have given you one fact about large intestine. It absorbs water. Do you also know that large intestine has bacteria? Do you also know that large intestine has bacteria? Yes or a no would work. Large intestine has a bacteria. That does not, oh, Mangla says, I do not know that. So it's a piece of information for you that we have bacteria which helps us. You know, Kush also says, I don't know, ma'am. So we have a bacteria in living in large intestine. It helps us to work for our body. And don't be surprised, सच में, literally, it helps us. And अभी आपने बोला था vitamins के लिए, absorption के लिए help होता है. You know what? This bacteria that lives in our gut, which is in the large intestine, makes vitamin K, which is very important for our body. And अभी हमने clotting, अभी हमने करी थी clotting of the blood. हमने देखा था platelet plug बनाता है, right? उसके अंदर vitamin K is very important. अगर vitamin K की कमी होगी, तो then the clotting will also decrease, or the efficiency of the clotting that should happen will also be suffered. So just imagine, vitamin K is being made in our body by bacteria. Again, how? Chemical reactions. So in the large intestine, that is very important, and this bacteria is good for us. It helps us, it doesn't infect us. It helps our body to make the vitamin K required. And I've just shown you this over here. You can see the large intestine. You can also see the small intestine as well. I'll just show you. This one is the large intestine, okay? And this one is the jejunum, which is the part of small intestine. So it's very coiled in nature over here. This is the large intestine. This is the ascending part. This is the transverse, and this is the descending, okay? Or you can also talk about this is colon. Okay, if this is clear, I'll also show the next picture, which is digestion. So we just talked about saliva, how it helps in the body, how it is there in the mouth. Esophagus, acid chyme, we also talked about that. It happens in stomach. We also talked about pancreatic juice released into the duodenum. And you also told bile duct coming from the liver, and also from the gallbladder, it moves to the duodenum, which is a part of small intestine. And that's how absorption is aided. And intestinal juice is also there. We've already talked about all the terms over here. Just a recap. Now, the final stage is egestion. Can you tell me what exactly is egestion? The word in itself says that. The word e meaning exit. But what do you have to exit? What does the body has to exit? Can you tell me on the chat? What do you think the body has to like exit? Like what exactly would the waste materials, removal of waste materials and toxins? Absolutely correct. That's what happens. So basically residual waste, which is also called as feces, is stored in the rectum. So this is a part which stores the feces. And finally, when it will, again, it will be like when the quantity is so much that the boundary of the rectum says that, hey, I can't handle more. It will signal to the brain. It will tell that, please tell the body to go to the washroom and release it. That's what it does. And that's again a chemical reaction. It has to tell when you have to go. And it happens through anus. And that's the last part of the body, which helps you to release the waste material. And this is a small diagram which shows what we just talked about. So in the mouth, you take it, that goes to esophagus, finally goes to the stomach, goes to the small intestine, then to the large intestine, and finally from rectum stored for some time, and then finally moved out of the anus. So that's what happens. Now, if you already got step 5, I want you to see a small video, which will be a quick recap of what we have learned. And given how much you're active, I also have a small quiz. How many of you would love to have a quiz? 4 to 5 questions, not much. Yes or a no on the chat. Yes or a no on the chat. Mangal is happy, probably. Meena is also happy. Okay, Kush. Okay, Prakash, Tamanna, Manasvi. I also urge everybody to participate in the class. Can I have some new people who have not spoken yet on the chat? If you can, go ahead. All right, so let's start. I'm just sharing my screen again with the video. There might be some words that you might not have known. If you would like to note that down, go ahead. Most of the things we would have already covered over here. So this is the video, which is now on your screen. And you can just open your notebook if you would like to add on anything. It's a short video of 3 minutes around. You can start. I'm starting it now. And if you have any questions, you can probably write it down in your notebook or on the chat if you have. If it is audible.
Chewing breaks down food particles and mixes them with saliva. Saliva contains the starch-digesting enzyme amylase and a slippery protein called mucin that helps to lubricate the food particles for easier swallowing. As food is swallowed, it enters the esophagus and is moved downward by wave-like muscular contractions called peristalsis. At the end of the esophagus, the food empties into the upper portion of the stomach. The lining of the stomach produces gastric juices that contain protein-digesting enzymes. Peristaltic movements of the stomach will mix and churn the food with the gastric juices. This action further breaks up the food particles, forming a milky fluid known as chyme. At the bottom of the stomach, a muscular valve controls the release of chyme into the first part of the small intestine called the duodenum. The duodenum is only 25 centimetres long, but most of the digestion takes place in this region. Also opening into the duodenum are ducts from the pancreas and the gallbladder. These allow enzyme-rich pancreatic juice and bile to be released and mixed with the chyme. Chemical breakdown of carbohydrate, protein and fats into smaller absorbable molecules takes place. The next section of the small intestine is the jejunum, about 2.5 metres long. Folds in the wall of the jejunum greatly increase its surface area, allowing for ready absorption of the products of digestion. The inside of the jejunum and ileum are lined with tiny finger-like projections called villi. These increase the surface area of the small intestine. They play an important role in absorbing the breakdown products of digestion. Each villus has a rich blood supply, allowing nutrients to be readily absorbed and transported to the liver. Also present is a system of vessels known as a lacteal, which absorbs fat nutrients and carries them to the circulatory system. At the end of the ileum, a muscular structure controls the release of undigested material into the first part of the large intestine, the cecum. From here, peristaltic movements push the undigested material down the large intestine and allow it to mix with the large bacterial population present. The bacteria are able to ferment some of the undigested material, producing short-chain fatty acids. These are used as an energy source for the bacteria and the cells lining the large intestine. Other important chemical compounds, such as vitamin K, are also produced by this bacterial action. As the material slowly moves down, undigested material is compacted and absorption of water and electrolytes takes place. Undigested and compacted material enters the rectum for temporary storage before being eliminated through the anus.
So that's all. And please be ready now for a short, quick questionnaire that I'll be just putting forward, and let's see if you can answer. Please be ready on your chats. And the question goes here. First one, which vitamin is synthesized in large intestine? You just have to name the letter on the chat. Just name the letter. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely right. It's vitamin K. Great. Next one. Dash helps the food to get lubricated. Quick. You have 10 seconds to tell me the answer. Dash. Wow. Sahil. Meena ma'am, thank you. Magilal, that's correct. Saliva, correct. Absolutely. Kush, yeah, we can be more specific. Amylase can make it more lubricated, and that's present in saliva. Great. The answer is absolutely correct. Next one. Dash and dash are the juices that are released in small intestine from pancreas and liver. Quick. The answers in 10 seconds. I know you're typing, and I know you can. Great. It is bile and pancreatic juice. Absolutely correct. Great. Wonderful. It's 3-on-3. The score is 3-on-3. I wish I can steal those away. Probably some should be incorrect as well, but I think you're a great audience and a great participant and great students. Waste material from the process of digestion is stored in. Think, stored in. I'm not saying moved out of the body. Great, great Manish. Yes, absolutely Himanshi. Yes, it is rectum. Absolutely correct. And let's go. This is a true false question. I hope that you will get it right. We do not have any useful bacteria residing in our intestines. Is it a true statement? Is it a false statement? Wow. Everybody knows it. Okay, it's a false statement. We do have a useful bacteria, which is in our intestine and precisely in a large intestine. And that's the end of the short, quick quiz. And before we end the session for today, I would like to also tell you some career options that you should know if you know, or if you have an interest that I already saw in digestion of food. You can be a dietitian. You can also be a food blogger. Food blogger is something which is in these days, meaning which food you should eat, which food is healthy, uh, how is it made, what kind of macronutrients it has, what value will it add to your health. So if you know about food so well, I think that's a very good way to become a food blogger and earn in a different way, being creative as well as informative too. You can also become a doctor, of course, precisely as a gastroenterologist, which means that they would be focusing on the gastrointestinal tract, which is the digestive tract. Any problems there, anything that you would have any issue, they can help you. In the food processing industry, I don't know if you know it, we also have right now fortified foods that we get in the market. Like, we don't have that mineral or vitamin in that food usually, but it is fortified, added externally, and sold. So processing industry, if you have a key interest in the food, you can become a food processing person as well in that industry. You can also become a chef to know what kind of food um, your um, your people would like to have, and based on what do they have. If they have a particular disease, if they particular have probably a diabetic person reaches to you and talks about, I can't have such sweet thing, you can go about and make something which they can have. And you can also become a geneticist to make the kind of genes differ in the crops to make it even more better yielding varieties. And of course, dietitian to help people become better in health, and also be aware of how can they achieve healthy beings. So any question and answer you would require, please go ahead. That will be the end for today's session. I really would like to thank each one of you for being such a great audience and such participants who were just so enthusiastic, and you were throughout with me. Thank you so much. Anything that you would like to add or ask? That's a very good question, Kush. Which chemicals help in healing our body? So to tell you about over here, there are many hormones that help us. So it depends upon what exactly are you talking about. So, like for example, if you sure, Veena ma'am, I would talk about that as well. So healing happens basically based on many factors. So it is not just one chemical that might be needed. Push. So, for example, if I was talking about the cut that you got over there, so the healing would not happen if I don't have platelet. The healing would not happen if I don't have fibrin. If the healing would not happen if I don't have tissue factor. So you can also like take it as, if tissue factor is not there, it would not really help. Thrombin then is another protein that will be getting activated during that, and because of this cascade reactions, one after one after one, all these small proteins or chemicals aid in healing the body. So it's not that only one particular chemical does that, it's like a cascade. So one example is what I gave you about healing the wound. All of these proteins would be involved. In geneticist, I would like to also talk about, like, I don't know if you know about BT brinjal varieties. There were many varieties that were or BT cotton. So these are some of the varieties that uh, were introduced by scientists who work precisely on altering genes. Genes is nothing but, if you would have known DNA and RNA, these are the codes that are there in the DNA that precisely helps to know that which protein will be secreted and which protein will be made. But if you do not want a particular protein, if you do not, or if you wish to increase that level of protein or level of that yield, you change a particular gene sequence, a nucleotide sequence in that particular crop, and you study how is that manipulation of that gene is done. Once you do that, that's what happened in BT cotton and BT brinjal as well. They try to make better yielding varieties, better varieties that can give you more output, but in a smaller space, and also be resistant to a lot many insects. So in BT cotton, you got many insects that were like infecting the cotton and making it bad. This yielding variety was resistant to that. So you changed the cotton in terms of how you wanted it to be. And the same with goes with brinjal, like it added more value to, it was debatable if it was a boon or a bane, it was debatable. But then that's what a geneticist does. It tries to make food crops better. And also right now, aapko pata hai, like population is increasing so much. You need space to grow crops. So it'll be great if we have small space and we have more crops being planted over there and we get more varieties instead of using a lot bigger land and only getting, you know, only small, like small number of crops yielding varieties. So that's primarily like in snippet, if I can tell, that that's the role of geneticist, and even beyond that, to study useful genes in plants, to say. I hope I answered the question. And anything else? Yeah, ma'am, hybrid. That's a perfect word. It also makes a hybrid over there. So yeah, so I'm sorry, I just stopped sharing. Thank you. Yes, Kush. So yoga is a very perfect exercise that that really boosts and that also helps these chemicals to get activated precisely the amount that you want, and that's why they are mentioned. Yoga is a perfect exercise. So if you do it perfectly, it will really help you to calm down, to concentrate. How do you do that? Again, it helps you to maintain those chemical reactions in a very perfect balance. And also you should know that the pH of the body is very crucial for maintaining that. If it alters even a bit, these chemical reactions would not happen. You would have studied in the first chapter of how crucial it is to maintain those levels to happen, to make a reaction happen. So of course yoga textbooks would be having such things, and yoga as a practice is very important. But it's not visible, Push. It's like you can't just say that this is present here and this is present. Yeah, it is present, but visually you can't see them. Push. Most welcome, Push. Thank you everyone for being an amazing audience. It was a delight to have you all.
Thank you, Ritika. Though I missed some part of your session, but whatever portion I was present, it was amazing. And I really feel bad that more children did not join in to avail this kind of opportunity. But yes, all those who were present here, I'm sure they have taken lots of learning points from you. So really an amazing session. Thank you so much for taking out time and coming.
Means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much for the opportunity, ma'am. Sorry, Ratika.
Sorry,
Thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am. I really must say that your students made me feel super small, because most of these things I had no clue. We had a mock session. We had a mock session this morning, and I was trying to answer some of Ratika's questions, and I just knew just a small tidbits of everything. And a lot of your students know a lot more, and that's amazing. Kudos to your teachers and kudos to your school to make sure that happens. And hopefully we added value to it by complementing it by examples, real life applications, etc. So thank you, everyone. I've posted a feedback form on the chat as well for the principals, the teachers here, and the students. it would be highly appreciated if you guys can make sure that you review the form and finish the form. It will be great for us. Thank you so much again. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you for bringing so much of value-added sessions to the children. And as you said, they really made me feel proud. When they were answering, it was like an encouragement that, yes, we are on the right track in transiting the right kind of information towards the children. But Ritika, you really made it so simple and easy that it felt that wish we had studied from you. Thank you so much.
That means a huge compliment, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. We have a mathematics session tomorrow. So see you all tomorrow for the mathematics session. That would be the last of our 5 pilot sessions with your school. Thank you guys again.
Looking forward.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.